All right, here we are. I think we're live. Yeah, the little red light says we're live. I'm Josh, and I'm joined here with Tiana and the Professor Smoke.
Hey.
What's up?
We are from the All American Spookshow podcast, which you can listen to every Monday at 6 p.m. East, wherever you get your podcasts, right here on the YouTube channel. We appreciate you watching tonight. And tonight we're going over, basically, we're going to react to what happened at the 2024 Fangoria Chainsaw Awards back in roughly about a little less than a month ago. So about 3 weeks or so ago, Smoke and I came on here live and we did our predictions. So we went through all the nominees for all the Fangoria Chainsaw Awards, and we gave our predictions on who we thought would come out on top. This past Sunday night on Shudder, they had the actual broadcast of the Fangoria Chainsaw Awards. So now we have the results, and we figure we go one by one back through them and see how well we did. So I want y'all to keep score. All right. See how close we came. Did y'all get a chance to actually watch it?
Yeah, we saw. I mean, I don't think if we made it all the way through it, but we saw part of it anyways.
At least half of it.
Yeah, at least half.
Yeah, it's on demand on Shudder, at least for some amount of time. I don't know if it'll stay up there forever, but you can go back and watch it. That's actually how I watched some of it live, and then I was because I came into it really late. It was like 50 minutes in, so I watched about maybe 10 minutes of it. I'm like, nah, I'll watch this later. And I swung back around and watched it, and man, I tell you what, it's a tough watch. You know, I mean, it's fine. It's fine for what it is, but I don't know. It needs something, right? I mean, we were talking about it. I don't know. It's not bad, but it's not good either. You know.
Well, like you say, it's kind of stayed the same. Also, as far as the segments or whatever, and the way they write them, I guess, or whatever, has been the same over the course of the last a few years, anyways, right?
Yeah, I think like the last few years in a row, it's been David Dasmalchin hosting it with what is like one of the Fangoria editors, and they got these silly wraparound. It's like a little overarching story that's going on in the background as they're doing the nominees. I guess they can do it about as well as you can do it if you're not going to do it like live on a stage, right? If you're not going to do like say your traditional Oscar presentation type
studio audience type thing.
Yeah. I think that would be nice if they at least had like a decent sized crowd, or like you even said, a studio audience or something, a crowd of people to play off of, and maybe bring in some bigger names, you know, like I don't know.
I mean, I don't know where they shoot this thing, but it seems like you know, Fangoria name recognition and all that. Of course, there'll probably be fans lining up to, you know, to be in the studio audience or whatever.
Yeah.
Oh, I wouldn't think you'd have any issue drawing a crowd if you decided to do this somewhere. Hell, just make it part of a convention. Didn't you go to the first one?
I was about to say that. Yeah, because I talked about that on the last time we did, or the last couple times we've done the Chainsaw Awards. Yeah, I was at the 1992 Fangoria Weekend of Horrors in LA, and I'm pretty sure that was the first annual or the first one that they did of the Chainsaw Awards, and Bruce Campbell hosted it there at the convention. And I mean, somebody recorded it, not necessarily for them to play back or air anywhere live. I think it was just a fan, maybe in the crowd or something with the camera. But I believe it's out there on in the internet land somewhere, maybe on YouTube. I don't know, but yeah, something like that would even work, I think.
Yeah, I mean, we remember when we used to do Deadline Horror News every Wednesday night here on the channel live. Every week we would go through the conventions somewhere in the world, or even more specifically in the U.S. Pretty much every weekend, somewhere there's a horror convention.
Yeah.
So just pick one of them, one of the random big ones in October, and do it there.
True.
You know, some place that has a big enough convention hall to hold a couple hundred people, and do it there. It would be a lot better than the way they present it. Maybe it's just it's easier for them to do it this way so they can get people on Zoom. You know, they don't have to fly people in and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
You know, maybe that's part of it, but I mean, some of them they didn't have. A few of them, as we'll go through them, they didn't have proper people accepting the awards. It was just like we're accepting it on their behalf because they couldn't send anybody, or they couldn't even get anybody on camera to accept it. So what's the difference, right? I don't know.
Yeah.
But we'll go through them, and we're not going to go through them in the exact order that they did on the show. We're going to go through them in the order that we did the predictions. So it was the original list, basically the original ballot that they had sent out, for everybody to vote on. So we're going to start with achievement and nonfiction. We see that up on the screen. You'll see all the nominees that there were. It was Amityville: An Origin Story, The Boulet Brothers Dracula Season 5, The Enfield Poltergeist, The Last Drive-In with Joe Bob Briggs, and Svengoolie. I think we all predicted The Last Drive-In with Joe Bob Briggs.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And surprise, surprise, Joe Bob won it. We did give a little bit of a nod to Svengoolie, right, when we were talking about it. Like, I don't think any of us knew how to be for that, but
yeah, I think he's great and everything. I think it's just that Joe Bob took off like a rocket on Shudder from day one. Remember that when he first started doing that he crashed the whole server system or whatever because people were trying to watch it. A shit ton of people were trying to watch it.
The whole premise behind that first one was it was supposed to be like a whole 24-hour marathon, right? And that was going to be it. Like there was not going to be a series and everything that has happened in the years since. It was just going to be that one 24-hour marathon, and that's it.
That was it. And now look, it's how many years ago was that?
I want to say it was 6 years ago because I think it was. I want to say it was about the summer before we started doing the Spookshow. Is when that happened. So yeah, it's been about 6 years or so since they did that. So
and he's gone through some various things of like doing like we were talking about a studio audience. They've done that. Have a live audience watching movies with them before, So yeah, I think he's well deserved.
Absolutely. The next category, let's see, it was best cinematography. So our prediction was, I think pretty much all of us said In a Violent Nature. Let me see if I can bring up the old little video clip here. I'm sorry, give me just a second. I should have had that already pulled up. Here it is. So the nominees were The First Omen, I Saw the TV Glow, In a Violent Nature, Infinity Pool, and Poor Things.
Mm-hmm.
So I think pretty much all of us that I wrote down said In a Violent Nature just because of how unique that first kind of first person, or what would you call that? No, that's more third person perspective.
Well, and there's a few times where the camera's kind of behind him for the most part, except a couple of times where it's actually in front of him.
You notice too, like you don't really see the front shots of the killer until they have the reveal of his face, or he puts on that mask.
Yeah.
Then they kind of turn the camera around and you can see him, from the front or whatever, and then they eventually reveal his face. But just from all those unique perspectives is why we kind of guessed that one. And we were dead wrong. Robbie Ryan won it for Poor Things.
Yeah.
Which I guess we shouldn't be surprised knowing that did win like multiple Oscars. So in hindsight, maybe we should have saw that one coming a little bit.
True. Well, for me, I was a little blind with that one because I don't know how y'all have both seen Poor Things, right?
No.
Or no,
I haven't. I mean, I've heard tons about it.
Okay.
I haven't watched it.
Never mind. Then I'm in good company then because none of the three of us have seen it. I thought I maybe was the only one that hadn't seen it, but no.
Yeah, I mean, like it's one that I will eventually get around to.
Yeah.
I'd say, unfortunately, I have seen Lisa Frankenstein, which probably is very similar, except probably much poorly done compared to that.
Yeah, well, probably that. We saw that in the theater, and I know Tiana probably enjoyed it more than I did because it's kind of a play off of Lisa Frank in the '80s, and it's very
Frankenstein.
Yeah, but. Yeah, I think I got a feeling I probably like Poor Things maybe a little bit better because it's a little less,
I'm betting,
not geared just towards women. Not that Lisa Frankenstein was completely geared towards women, but I mean, that's who's going to get the most out of it, probably.
Yeah, because that one felt like, not to dwell on that movie, but that one felt more like a what did I think of it at the time? Kind of like Heathers.
Yeah.
Kind of feeling to it. I don't know, because they were going for that '90s vibe on that, right? And then throw in the Frankenstein story, dark like Heathers, I guess is where I was going with that. So there you go. So we're no, I'm sorry, we got one of them right. So we're one for two so far. So the third list was best costume design. Now this one we had a couple. There was a little bit of a split opinion on this one, but the nominees for best costume design were The First Omen, Immaculate, Late Night with the Devil, Lisa Frankenstein, speak of the devil, and Poor Things, that one again. we figured it would either be Poor Things or Late Night with the Devil. And the winner was Poor Things, Holly Waddington for Poor Things. So we were kind of half right on that one. We almost got it. Which I think that one literally won an Oscar for something to do with that. So once again, we shouldn't be surprised.
Yeah.
And I think we did mention that, at least on that one, that, Poor Things might take it, but I think we all enjoyed Late Night with the Devil, just the look of that one, right?
Yeah. And again, kind of flying blind, where I'm totally in the dark with Poor Things. I didn't even know what it looked like, the cinematography, the style of it. So that's probably why I don't think I ever had it on maybe any of my predictions, because I hadn't seen it and I'd seen most of the other ones probably.
The only thing that I remember us talking about was the fact that it had won some Oscars, so we probably needed to consider that,
Yeah.
Even though we hadn't seen it. You can't crap on something, at least, when you're talking about horror movies, when it's got that many Oscar nominations and wins.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
It's probably going to take a couple Chainsaw Awards.
True. Yeah. And I'm sure I'd probably like it. I just hadn't, I don't even know the look of it. So to know that what it's up against, so probably a lot of our predictions on there, any of them where Poor Things won an award, I probably was wrong.
Yeah. Next one is Best Creature Effects. Now, this is one that I think is more suited to our, more our speed, right? The nominees on this one were Evil Dead Rise, Five Nights at Freddy's, Infested, The Last Voyage of the Demeter, and Megan. Oh, God.
Now, that one I have consciously avoided.
Good for you, because I have not. I actually, believe it or not, I've seen it twice, because remember they released like an unrated cut. And I'm like, I'm curious enough to see if this unrated cut is any better.
Was it more TikTok dancing or no?
That probably would have made it better. I was hoping for I'm like, well, maybe the unrated cut's got some gore in it. A little bit. Just a little bit. That's it. Like somebody spilled some ketchup on their shirt, About a little bit is what I mean. Anyways, our predictions for Best Creature Effects we were split between Evil Dead Rise and Megan. And remember, I threw out Megan just because of how popular the whole Megan thing was. But I think we basically all agreed that Evil Dead Rise would probably win it. And we were correct. Adam Johansson and Damian Martin, Odd Studios, for Evil Dead Rise. They took home the chainsaw. No beef with that one. I mean, Evil Dead Rise, for creature effects, it looked great, huh?
Yep. Speaking of creature effects, we just had a cat jump in front of the camera. That was a special effect.
That was very practical.
Yeah, so there was no CG involved in that one.
Also, no animals were harmed during the making of this video. Unless they harm me, then it's on. Let's see what's next. Oh, Best Director. This one was a little bit harder to call, because I think these are some pretty good nominees.
Yeah.
On this one, so we had three different ones that we thought as possibilities would win it. But the nominees for Best Director were Brandon Cronenberg for Infinity Pool, Lee Cronin for Evil Dead Rise, Danny and Michael Filippo for Talk to Me, Damien Runia for When Evil Lurks, and Arkasha Stevenson for The First Omen. I think all five are great movies in their own way, right?
Yeah.
I'd say just about anybody's top 10 list of last year is probably going to include some variation of those five, more than likely.
I really thought it was going to be Talk to Me, though. I really thought.
Yeah, and that was one of the possibilities. Smoke and I were kind of split on When Evil Lurks and Infinity Pool, and you added in Talk to Me. So that was the three possibilities that we had put out there as predictions. And we were wrong.
Yeah.
All of us.
All three of them were wrong. It was Lee Cronin for Evil Dead Rise. Once again, I'm not unhappy with that. I really love that movie.
Yeah, and plus, going in retrospect, I think maybe we probably underplayed the Evil Dead Rise movie when we were putting our predictions out there.
Probably a little bit. I think both of us were kind of like, I'd like to see it win more, but I don't know if it will win as much as I would like to see. And so far, going down this list, what it's won, well, Poor Things has taken 2 so far, and then Evil Dead Rise has taken 2 so far. So far of what we've gone over here. So
yeah.
Let's see what's next. Best documentary feature. Now, this is the one, admittedly, we hadn't seen any of them. Tiana, do you remember if you had actually seen any of these?
For which one?
Documentary.
Best documentary.
No, I didn't see any of them either.
Yeah. Let me run through the nominees here. It was Dario Argento Panico.
And surprisingly, we haven't seen that yet.
Yeah.
It's one of my favorite directors. That
Actually, since then, I've watched about half of it.
Oh, okay.
Since we originally talked about this. The Legacy of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
I got the shirt on, but I haven't seen the documentary.
Satan Wants You, Sharksploitation, and We Kill for Love. So like I said, in the time since we made these predictions, I watched about half of that Argento one, and it is in Italian.
Oh, okay.
Because it's got a lot of interviews with him and his family and some other people and all that. So, I mean, there's a lot of reading, but
yeah.
You can get past that. Then I think it's well done so far. But it did not win. Now we predicted that the Argento, just based on like kind of our taste.
Yeah.
And that was it, because we hadn't watched any of these. We predicted either the Argento doc or the Texas Chainsaw doc would win, and we were half right. It was the Legacy of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre that took home the chainsaw. And that looks really good from the little trailer or the clips I've seen.
Yeah.
It looks really good. So I need to get around to watching that one.
Yeah, definitely do too. Because both of those ones just mentioned, I've seen. There's been some great older documentaries. So I'm interested to see what they did with these. But the older ones would have been Texas Chainsaw Massacre, A Family Portrait. Remember that one? That was back when Jim Sedal was still alive. I think he was in there. And then Dario Argento's World of Horror was the from sometime in the 80s, I believe, or maybe late 80s or early 90s even. That I can't remember the dude that directed Cemetery Man. And The Church. Michele Suovi.
Yeah.
Yeah, he directed that one. Both of those I recommend, but I haven't seen the new ones yet, so we'll get around to that soon.
Yeah, we need to make up for that. But like I said, I did start watching Panico, and I think definitely, Smoke, that's something you will really like. Watch. Next one was Best First Feature. So here are the nominees for that: The Angry Black Girl and Her Monster, Birth, Rebirth, It Lives Inside, Skinamarink, and Stop Motion. Now, our predictions were pretty much unanimous that Skinamarink.
I knew it was going to be Skinamarink.
Although we did give a nod when we were talking about, we did give a nod to Stop Motion. But yeah, I think we generally felt that Skinamarink was going to take it.
I think we also did. You see Stop Motion, Josh? Yeah. So all of us had seen that. We saw it at the theater. I think when that one came out, that was I think underrated movie. Didn't really expect much out of it. That's good.
Yeah, it's definitely got a unique look, and Skinamarink has just unique weirdness all about it. Period. Right?
Yeah. Probably one of the most divisive, if not the most divisive movie that's come out in the last, I don't know, 5 years, anyways, maybe.
If you want to call it a movie.
Yeah, true.
It won. It won the award. So no surprise there, right, Tiana?
Nope.
I mean, I think we all kind of figured, just because of if for no other reason than the buzz that was behind it. And,
and the uniqueness of it, I guess. Regardless of whether it definitely doesn't have a narrative plot. It's just like a dream / nightmare.
It's really one of those. It's one of those kind of movies that are best compared to like just an experience.
Yeah.
And you also, I didn't see it in the theater, but you said y'all did, and like being in the dark and the sound design and everything really made it, right?
Yeah.
And we were only, I think we might have talked about this before, but I think there was only one other couple, 2 other people in there, which were a couple. Besides us watching the movie, and they left about after, I don't know, 20 minutes, maybe, if that. I mean, I'll give them credit. They were probably maybe they liked horror movies. I don't know. They certainly probably were not the kind that liked art house type films. But they stuck it out for that long and then realized, well, shit, ain't nothing happening. I'm out of here.
Yeah.
So.
What the hell is this?
But yeah, it was definitely the sound design was great in the theater.
I remember going into that thinking like, all right, I've heard enough to know that this is weird. So I'd strapped the weird hat on, so I was ready for that much.
Yeah, yeah.
I didn't know exactly what it was going to be. I just knew that it was going to be odd.
Yeah. Yeah, we were kind of in the same boat when we saw it in the theater. We tried not to find out too much about it. We knew it was going to be I knew it was kind of a VHS style of shooting or whatever. It was cool. That's up my alley. I'm fine with that.
And you could tell that much just from the trailers or any images you see from it that, it has a unique look to it.
Yeah, you just didn't know to what degree or lack thereof narrative story.
Outside of someone shooting a whole movie with their iPhone, like, I don't know if you could do a movie as cheap as this, because it was made for next to nothing, like in the dude's childhood home.
Yeah.
I mean, other than, like I said, just taking your phone and making a feature length film out of it. I mean, I don't know how much cheaper you could make a movie,
Now, one thing you kind of juxtapose it with would be that, what's it, WNUF, WUN, whatever, that Halloween special?
WNUF, I think it is.
Yeah, something like that one, because they shot that all on camcorder footage. But that's different because that one has a narrative, logic, and everything. But if you want to compare, shooting styles is very similar that way because it was,
I've got my parents' old, like down here somewhere, my parents' old camcorder from like 1990.
Yeah.
Full VHS tape on the shoulder. We should shoot.
Yeah. I have one too. Unfortunately, it doesn't work. Mine, the one I have doesn't work.
Like, I haven't tried it in God knows how long, but I think it might still work. So we might have to do something with that one.
Yeah, we have to. I mean, actually, the one I have may work, but the battery pack itself doesn't charge anymore. So that's the problem. So maybe it would work if I could get that to,
Yeah. Let's see. Next up is Best International Movie. And this is another one of those interesting categories. So the nominees were The Coffee Table, Exuma, Infested, Husera the Bone Woman, and When Evil Lurks. Now, our prediction was across the board, When Evil Lurks. That's what we said. Now, Tiana, you've probably seen more because I think Smoke and I only could remember When Evil Lurks that we had seen. I don't think I've seen any of the other ones. Have you seen any of the other ones that we just listed off there?
Yes, I've seen all of them except Infested, I believe.
I don't know if I want to watch that. It's got spiders. So I don't know.
You don't want a double feature of Sting and then Infested?
Yeah, I actually started watching Sting, and that one's no. I bet you this is probably even worse. So yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, it looks like it.
But yes, we were dead right on this one. When Evil Lurks took it home. No surprise there. That was another one kind of like Skinamarink, where like, it had a lot of buzz too, right? Like a lot of people were talking about it.
Yeah, that's the movie that we saw as a double feature.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, we saw this movie first, and then we saw The Exorcist, the Believer, afterwards. Not that it would have made much difference the other way around. But
you could claim that that's one of the worst double feature choices. As far as like just one movie being really good and awesome, and another one just.
Yeah, and both of them were related to possession in some form or other. Exorcist more traditional, Christian demon exorcism, and the other one its own thing, but both of them related to possession. Just one of them very much better than the other one, and that would be When Evil Lurks.
Yeah.
That was much better. Like I said, if we had seen Exorcist Believer first and then gone, at least it would have got that taste out of our mouth by seeing the the better movie second. But no, we did it the other way around, unfortunately, because we kind of expected Exorcist the Believer not to suck that bad. We expected something halfway decent out of it. So I mean, but
we always hope, right? We always hope.
Yeah.
And then unfortunately, like the bigger productions these days, they disappoint you more often than they surprise you.
It's more, we should have known that these more independent ones that come out of left field like that are the better movies these days. So people's tastes are different, I guess, but for us, that's the case.
Yeah. I mean, but they still pump them out every now. Like your When Evil Lurks, Evil Dead Rise.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
You get some,
Yeah, you get a few out there that are,
Yeah.
that are mainstream, that are still halfway decent.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Or better, or more than halfway decent in the case of Evil Dead Rise.
The next category was best lead performance. So, the way Fangoria, they don't split it up like best actress, best actor. They just put them all in the same pool and call it best lead performance. So the nominees for this one were Tobin Bell for Saw X, David Desmalchin for Late Night with the Devil, Caitlin Dever for No One Will Save You, Nell Tiger Free for The First Omen, Catherine Newton for Lisa Frankenstein, Lupita Nyong'o for A Quiet Place Day One, Emma Stone for Poor Things, Lily Sullivan for Evil Dead Rise, Sydney Sweeney for Immaculate, and Sophie Wilde for Talk to Me. Now, I have seen most of those movies, not all of them.
Yeah, I've seen a good many of them.
We came to the conclusion of 1, 2, 3, 4. We had 4 possibilities, 4 good possibilities here. What we thought. We thought it could either go to Emma Stone just because, Poor Things.
Poor Thing.
David Desmalchin, Lily Sullivan for Evil Dead Rise. I threw that one out there. And Tiana, you threw out Tobin Bell from Saw X. The winner was David Desmalchin for Late Night with the Devil. So, we threw. I think Smoke, you were the one that threw that out as a good possibility.
Yeah,
but still think I'm kind of surprised that he actually,
actually
got it. I mean, I'm happy that he did.
Yeah,
he was great in that movie. But
he put his own name in there since he was the host. He put his own name. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah. That's an easy get for them, right? Like the dude's hosting, so you like to think that they wouldn't swing it that way for that reason. Maybe whatever, right? It doesn't matter. But
yeah.
I think he really did do a good job in that movie. Now I'm not taking anything away from him. He did good, and that's a great flick.
Yeah, that was another one. Did you get to see it in the theater?
No, I didn't. I watched that one a little bit later on Shudder, but I wish I had seen that in the theater.
Yeah,
that's one of my 2025 goals to try to see more in the theater next year.
I think we saw it opening night, and there was
there was a good crowd. There was a lot of people in there for that one, and they were all kind of into it and stuff. So that was cool.
Remember with that one, there was a lot of buzz about it because of the way it looked and the trailers and everything. Like I think it was buzz, and then it felt like some of the buzz got killed because remember the
AI controversy,
the AI art on the, and it's such a small, stupid.
Yeah. I mean, that's such a touchy subject, though. It's getting to be more so touchy, but I mean that in that instance, it was just title cards.
Yeah,
you can still see. I mean, I can see both sides of the thing. I can see how I mean, somebody's not getting paid to do a job in the art department, and they're just
completely crap on a movie and like kind of kill the buzz of the movie just because of a few seconds of some AI created title cards. Come on, man.
Plus, you hear that the first time you're thinking, damn, what did they do? The whole movie, the whole effects are all AI or something. But then you hear it's just these title cards, and you're like, oh, okay, well, it's not, it's not the end of the world. I mean, I kind of fall on the spectrum of not being for AI to do a whole lot of things. I think it's good for some stuff, but I feel like for people who have a super low budget that can't afford an art and they want to have a little something, then okay, whatever. But if you can afford it. Hire an artist to do this or that thing or whatever. That's it. There's my rant for the day. Right?
Yeah. This has been what grinds my gears with the. I mean, I just looked it up. That movie had no, it doesn't even have the budget on here. I'm sorry. I was about to say what the budget was, but it doesn't say what the budget was for that movie.
Yeah.
It did end up making over 15 million. It just felt like it got neutered a little bit with all that.
Yeah.
A lot of people tripping back and forth about that, and it's to me, it's such a small thing. That you take away the credibility of the entire movie for just such a small thing kind of sucks. But
yeah. Like I say, I mean, if they had done all of the effects of some sort, an AI, then probably would have been on board with that. Screw this, I'm not going to see it. But just those title cards that pop up between segments or whatever, not that big a deal, I don't think. And I feel like I don't know.
Should they have got someone like some graphic artist somewhere to do that? Yes, they should have.
Yeah.
But
now I don't know if I haven't had seen an interview or anything, so I don't know if they were just the gimmickiness of AI. Maybe they were just playing around with that. Hey, look what we can do. Oh, this looks cool, like 70s style or whatever. And they just liked the look and went with it, or did they do it because they just didn't want to have to pay somebody to do it? I kind of feel like I said, I haven't seen an interview with them, but I kind of feel like they probably just were interested in the gimmickiness of it at first, and then put it out there, and it looked kind of cool to them, so they went with it.
Yeah,
that's my guess.
And probably not really thinking too hard about like whether people would recognize it or care.
Mm-hmm.
And then when people recognized and then cared,
Yeah, it's like, oh, yeah.
Whoops, my bad.
Yeah, because I mean, you see it, AI all over the place out there. As far as
yeah, well, it's
memes and all these things that get shared.
It's here to stay. Look, as much as we may or may not like it, it's here to stay, and it's only going to get worse.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, everything you've been watching tonight is AI. We're not really here. This is artificially more intelligent Josh speaking. Best limited release is the next category. We have Cobweb, Ennis Men, I Saw the TV Glow, The Outwaters, and Suitable Flesh. Now, at the time, the only one that I had seen was The Outwaters. Since then, I have watched about half of I Saw the TV Glow. But I haven't seen any of the other ones. Have either of you seen Cobweb, Ennis Men, or Suitable Flesh?
I have seen Cobweb.
Now we came.
That one,
yeah. Our conclusion was The Outwaters, and I based that off of the fact I think Smoke did too. That was the only one that we could claim that we had seen.
Yeah.
So, well, that's another. What is it called? Just like Skinamarink, like
just kind of a different take on different take on the found footage kind of thing.
Yeah, and it also had that viral buzz too.
Yeah.
Because everybody's, this is brutal,
Yeah, I think you recommended that to us way back when we first watched it. I think you said, you need to check out Outwaters.
To me, it's like it's a good half a movie. The first half is a little okay, whatever. You're setting up this found footage, but then once it goes like psychedelic and cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs, then it's something. It's something to it's something to see.
And it's a cool kind of psychedelic. It's a kind of psychedelic where anybody who's ever done psychedelics can kind of it's not like the gimmicky type psychedelics, like throw on some blinking lights and this, that, and like swirly things and all that. It's mind fuckery.
Yeah. That's a good term for that movie. That last 15-20 minutes of that movie, holy crap.
Yeah.
Smoke, you and I said The Outwaters, and Tiana, I think you said I Saw the TV Glow, and you were correct. That's what took it. I'm about halfway through that one, and it's fine so far. Once again, I need to finish watching it, so I don't want to give a complete, reaction just based on the first half of it. But so far, it's kind of all right.
I heard that it has a certain audience, so
I could see that. So far, I could see that too. Like I could see it being more of a younger. That one skews younger, for sure. Even though it's like based in the '90s, right?
Yeah,
it still feels more like a teen drama-y kind of.
Because like I said, I haven't seen it, but just judging by the title, it seems like something like. It seems, Skinamarink, the title Skinamarink doesn't make you think of what the movie is shot like on VHS and old school analog TVs.
No.
But I Saw the TV Glow kind of fits the theming of Skinamarink. So if I hear a title like I Saw the TV Glow, that might make me want to see it as sort of this throwback to that, analog type stuff. And I don't know if it is that way. You said it was shot it's made to be like the 90s, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. It's like it's taking place in the 90s. And like this, not to give anything away, but in particular, it's just this guy's like obsessed with a specific TV show.
Yeah.
It's kind of like his personality is all about this TV show, kind of. So interesting. I can see why it would, like you said, to a certain audience, Tiana, that would be something that they would like. Like we always say, for those that like that kind of thing, that's the kind of thing they like. Hit the wrong button. Let's see what's next. Best makeup effects. So let me pull up the video for that one. This is always tricky, like creature effects.
Oh yeah,
it's kind of hard to call because these type of things to me are. I guess they're all subjective, but this is very subjective to me.
Yeah, and also, I mean, what exactly are they looking for effects? Are they looking for the gore, like practical, like gore effects? Or are they looking for a creature? Design effects, or exactly what kind of effects? So yeah, it's kind of hard to judge necessarily,
and especially in horror, right? When you talk about makeup, what exactly are you honing in on? The nominees were Abigail, Evil Dead Rise, and A Violent Nature, Talk to Me, and When Evil Lurks. Now, our predictions were split on Evil Dead Rise and When Evil Lurks. Tiana, I think you said When Evil Lurks, I believe.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think either way, it would have been right. But Evil Dead Rise took it. It was Luke Pulte for Evil Dead Rise. That's who won the chainsaw. So not going to argue it.
Yeah.
There was, I think all of these were great in their own ways, right? As far as makeup effects and all that. When Evil Lurks, though, it seems like it was only in spots. It's not.
Yeah, I guess so.
All
Yeah.
the way through. Like when you see, what do they call it in the movie? The Possessed.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And when Evil Lurks, like that big fat dude in the.
Yeah.
That's some gruesome effects. Like,
Yeah. That and some of the other, like I said, well, we're not giving away too much here on this particular thing, but yeah, some of the things that happen in the gore effect or whatever that,
it's not wall to wall, but there are certain moments in that movie that are like, whoa, that's some good stuff. Whereas when Evil Dead Rise, I keep getting these damn.
that fits too, I guess, right? But
Evil Dead Rise, no, it's just When Evil Lurks and Evil Dead Rise. Evil Dead Rise is more, once it starts, it's like.
Oh yeah, it's nonstop pretty much with the creature effects and gore and this that. The other thing affects wall to wall, right?
Yeah, just like any Evil Dead movie, right?
Yeah.
Once it starts, boy, it's here we go. So no surprise there. Evil Dead Rise, Luke Pulte won the Chainsaw Award for that.
I'm kind of surprised that. I know it's not in it throughout, but only parts. That In a Violent Nature doesn't get it because my lord.
Yeah, that had a good. I think though, it probably is like, I guess like Josh is saying, they were going for number one, maybe even name recognition, Evil Dead, the franchise itself, and number two, that it is pretty much wall to wall, and there's probably more effects in A Violent Nature than there was in When Evil Lurks, still too, but yeah,
I'd say those are very comparable, probably about the same.
Yeah.
Evil Dead Rise probably had more, but I think if in A Violent Nature had more prolonged, if there was more in there, I think you'd be talking.
And that one that, again, we're not giving away spoilers, but the one. Have you seen it yet, Josh? By the way,
yes,
you did see it. Okay, so you know the one thing I'm talking about.
Well, it'll come back up. It's coming back. Trust me. The next one is Best Score. So this one was pretty much a unanimous decision on our part, but we'll go through the nominees. Stephen McCohen for Evil Dead Rise, Mark Corvin for The First Omen, Naoki Sato for Godzilla -1, Alex G for I Saw the TV Glow, and Tim Hecker for Infinity Pool. Unanimously, all three of us said Godzilla -1.
Yeah.
And we were not alone.
Yeah.
It took home the Chainsaw Award. Naoki Sato for Godzilla -1. Yeah, it's a great, unique score in and of itself, and then you throw in the original Godzilla music.
Yeah,
they had me.
Throw it in at the right time too. It's like, it's like instant. And I don't even know what to call. I guess you could say, nostalgia bait is out there all over the place, but this was something. It does kind of play into that a little bit, I guess, but it was done perfectly at the right time.
Yeah, it's satisfying and gratifying, however you want to put it. When that moment, when Godzilla's destroying Tokyo and it turns around and then yes, you just want to get up and cheer.
It's
perfect.
That's the perfect kind of nostalgia bait, right? It's out there everywhere and it inundated the market is with it right now. But when you do it right, it hits right, like that one.
Yep. And it had such a great story and everything about that movie. And that score.
Some of the other stuff that's like that nostalgia bait is not always the best story. They just kind of try and compensate for the story with that nostalgia stuff. And that doesn't work or at least for me, it doesn't work when it's only that. So you got to have a great story. And then you throw those little snippets in there that the fans like, and then then it's perfect.
It's just it's more of your traditional like classic score for that movie too.
Yeah.
Just beyond the Godzilla theme, the whole score, the composition of that movie is just so well done.
Yeah.
And those other ones, like we mentioned, I think even when we were talking about it, Infinity Pool had a pretty great like synth type of score soundtrack to it.
Mm-hmm.
The First Omen was very, reminiscent of The Omen.
Yeah.
Evil Dead Rise had great moments, especially that first, like, what is it, that first little 10-minute cold open.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I mean, that's some great stuff, but yeah, Godzilla -1 blew them all out of the water, in my opinion. The next category was Best Screenplay. So the nominees here were The First Omen, Infinity Pool, Late Night with the Devil, Megan, I don't know how the hell that got in here, and Talk to Me. Our predictions were literally all over the place. We threw out Infinity Pool, we threw out Late Night with the Devil, and we threw out Talk to Me. I think all three of us kind of had our own opinions on all three of those, right?
Mm-hmm.
Smoke, I believe it was you that was right. It was Late Night with the Devil.
No.
That took home the Chainsaw Award by Colin and Cameron Carnes.
No.
They wrote the screenplay for that one, so you were the lucky winner on that one. And once again, great story. No surprise. I'm kind of surprised, really, that Godzilla -1 wasn't nominated for best screen.
Yeah. I don't know how many was it only nominated for that one category
Yeah,
for the
I think
score.
so.
I guess.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
it's nominated for a couple
right.
others, but
Yeah.
and best wide release and stuff like that. But yeah,
Oh.
That they would put Megan
Above Godzilla -1.
if they would nominate Megan for best screenplay over Godzilla -1 is nuts. Especially since the screenplay is one of the biggest issues I have with that movie, beyond the fact that it has like zero gore in it.
Oh, was it PG-13?
Pretty sure.
Unless it had language, maybe.
Maybe there might have been more than one F-bomb in there, maybe, but I don't remember that. But regardless, it was almost bloodless.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I haven't seen it, but you saw it, did you? No. Yeah, you did watch it, right, Megan?
Oh, no,
Oh, no,
I
no,
haven't seen that.
Yeah.
I just know that it's not gory.
Not
or
gory,
anything.
yeah.
Yeah, it was PG-13.
Yeah, y'all are gonna love it when we finally get around to it. Especially you, Smoke. I'm looking at you. You're really gonna love that thing.
I think I'll probably be feeling a cold or something coming on when we have to.
I feel the flu raging through me.
Would you look at the time? I got to work overnight and stuff that night. I got things to do. I got the next day. I got.
Yeah. Was that in Christmas Vacation?
Yeah, Russ.
Undo this light bulb. It's like this. Oh, I gotta get up early in the morning, milk the cows. Trails away.
Yeah.
Yeah, Late Night. The winner was Late Night with the Devil for best screenplay. So once again, great flick. No surprise there. The next category was best streaming premiere, which I admittedly had only seen 2 or 3 of these, I think. But we'll go through the nominees real quick. No One Will Save You, Sick, Totally Killer, VHS 85, and Where the Devil Roams. Our predictions were Sick and VHS 85.
I think that was a category where I hadn't seen any of them.
I've seen I saw No One Will Save You and Sick. I haven't seen the other 3.
Will Save You.
Oh, okay.
The alien one.
Yeah.
There's that one.
And VHS 85 is the one we just recently watched, right?
No.
Or no, that wasn't even
That's
85.
Beyond.
Oh, that's
85
Beyond. Okay.
was from last year.
Okay.
Yeah, last year.
Yeah, Beyond just came out, right?
Yeah. I just watched that.
Well, we were half right. Well, I guess whoever, I don't remember who said VHS 85, maybe you, Tiana, but that's what won it. VHS 85 took home the.
No, I think I said Sick.
Okay.
Yeah.
I might have just threw a guess out there. If it was me, I just threw it out there. Like, oh,
well, I think it was. I think you were just kind of like, yeah, that sounds like something I would like. VHS 85.
Yeah, right. I do remember that now. Just by the year 1985 and by VHS, yeah, I'm going to go with that. Even though I hadn't seen that one yet.
Best Supporting Performance. That was the next category. So here are the nominees for that. We've got Dave Bautista for Knock at the Cabin, Joe Bird for Talk to Me, Nicolas Cage in Renfield, Mia Goth in Infinity Pool, Catherine Newton for Abigail, Bridget Lundy Payne for I Saw the TV Glow, Dwayne Perkins in The Blackening, Dan Stevens in Abigail, Elisa Sutherland for Evil Dead Rise, and Alicia Ware for Abigail. So this was another like, just like the best lead performance where it's a long list.
Yeah.
A lot of great performances, a lot of standout performances here. So we had 3 different ones that we thought might take it. We had Mia Goth for Infinity Pool. We had Nicolas Cage and Renfield. How can you not favor Nicolas Cage in anything? And Dave Bautista. I threw that one out as a wild card. Dave Bautista and Knock at the Cabin. And I'm not sure who said Nicolas Cage for Renfield, but that was not it. It was Elisa Sutherland.
I think I did.
Yeah, it was Elisa Sutherland in Evil Dead Rise.
Oh.
That took home the chainsaw. Once again, I think when we did that, I mentioned her. Like, it wouldn't shock me if it was her because she was really, as the possessed mom or whatever in the movie. In the movie, she was really great in that flick. So I wouldn't have been surprised if it was her. Or I said that at the time, and it was. But I really thought Mia Goth was a standout. I mean, she almost always is in everything she's in, right?
True.
And of course, Nicolas Cage is Nicolas Cage, and Dave Bautista though was kind of surprised me for Knock at the Cabin, like how well he did in that movie. Yeah,
playing against type.
Yeah, exactly. So
we did get to meet Alyssa.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
One of the conventions.
Yeah.
Mad Monster, maybe, or
Days of the Dead.
Days of the Dead.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That's cool.
She's very tall.
So the next category was Best Television Series. Now, this is one where the only one that I had seen was Last of Us. So let's see what the nominees for this were. Chucky. It's too bad Donnie's not here. The Fall of the House of Usher. Interview with the Vampire. The Last of Us. And Yellow Jackets. And I've heard good things about almost all of these in one way or another. But the only one I've seen a little bit of Interview with the Vampire, like the first season. I'm not sure which season this is, what they're currently on, 2 or 3.
Right, the first.
Maybe, because my wife loves Anne Rice. So anything with Anne Rice, we're probably watching that. So we started watching that. We need to go back and finish it. But The Last of Us, I love that.
Yeah,
great games too. But like they did a damn good job on that series. Yeah. So
good.
Smoke, you basically bowed out of that one because you said you hadn't seen any of them really to say. So you just kind of agreed with me when I said The Last of Us, and I think Tiana, you agreed. So we across the board said The Last of Us, and we were right. The Last of Us took home the Chainsaw Awards, so no surprise there. That's not to shit on the other ones. I'm sure they're fine in their own ways, but The Last of Us has that like HBO mega budget, like production quality behind it too, so well written, well done. Just it looks awesome, and the creature effects in that one and everything too.
Yeah.
Great stuff. Speaking of which, best video game. And I think they said this is the first time that they've ever done a Chainsaw Award for best video game, which is kind of surprising because there've been a lot of good horror games over the years. You thought at some point or another.
Yeah. It's kind of strange that this is only the first time.
Yeah.
There's so many horror games out.
Yeah, there are a lot.
Crazy.
And the nominees for this one, it kind of showed that there's just so many because there's a couple remakes on here. Alan Wake 2, the Dead Space remake, Killer Clowns from Outer Space, the game, Resident Evil 4 remake, and the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. I said that I thought it would be Texas Chainsaw and would not have been shocked by Alan Wake 2. And Tiana, you said Dead Space or Resident Evil 4 remakes.
Yeah.
Either way. So we kind of covered all. There was only 5. There's only 5. We said any of them could win it. So
hey, we sound like weather forecasters. Oh no.
Yeah. Well, if you throw enough shit against the wall, something was bound to stick, right? The winner was the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. And that is a great game. It's a fun game. Although my beef with those type of games is they can get a little bit repetitive. Like after you play them for a while, because the whole premise is you're either Leatherface chasing everybody to kill them, or
running from him,
or you're running from him. So like once you do that a handful of times, you're like, all right, and what time is it? I need to go do something else, But it is fun. It is fun to play a few rounds here and there, of games like that. because remember they had the because I think it was Gun Media that made that, and I'm pretty sure they were the same ones that made that Friday the 13th game.
The one that had all the glitches. I remember the glitch.
Yeah. And that one was fun. But like I think part of the problem with that one was like once it got going real good, they got zero support from the whole Jason franchise, whoever the hell has the ownership of that. And that's essentially why they ended up having to shut it down.
Yeah.
Like I think that game basically just doesn't exist anymore because of all that.
Even because of all that lawsuit stuff that was going on.
Yeah. Like I think they legally couldn't update it or something like that anymore. I'm sure someone watching out there would have more information about it, but it was something like that where basically like they're like, yeah, we need to cut this. Yeah. And apparently they had a bunch of updates planned, like adding more characters from the various movies.
Yeah.
And they killed it all. I think Tom Savini did make it in the game.
Oh yeah.
Maybe some version of maybe it was some updated version of Jason or something that he designed. It was something like that made it into that game and then done. That's another problem with those type of games is they're online only type games. There's no campaign or anything like that. So once they shut the servers down, that's it. Crap. I lost my list. Give me just a second here. What was the next one? So we just did best video game.
Yep.
So let's see. What's the big one? Best wide release movie. So let me pull up those nominees. All right, here we go. This is the big one. Probably one of the more divisive ones. The nominees were Abigail, Evil Dead Rise, The First Omen, Godzilla -1, Infinity Pool, Late Night with the Devil, Megan. How the hell does this keep getting on there? Satanic Hispanics, Talk to Me, and When Evil Lurks. Now, I think by and large, we all kind of agreed that Godzilla -1 should probably win it.
Yeah.
But then we were kind of divided on like, well, true horror or not, right? The argument of whether Godzilla is kind of like, it is, but is it like Jason or Freddy or something, right?
Plus that was our quibble about it. I mean, it's not if it's on the list, obviously it's up for grabs.
Yeah. And I got no beef with it being on there. I just mean like you could see where somebody might want to argue Godzilla versus a serial killer type movie.
It's not your traditional horror, even though it started out in the 50s as, that sci-fi horror divide wasn't that much of a divide. There's a lot of sci-fi horror movies. So it kind of started that way. Then, then you get more into the sort of kids programming with the monsters, fighting all the different monsters. Then, kind of comes back around again to horror. So this one being very reminiscent of the 1955, 56 when it came out, I think.
I think 54 was actually the
54.
The one from Japan, and then like I think it was 2 years later when the American version where they just edited in they edited Perry Mason into it. But I think this one kind of brings back some of that, definitely that first angst or whatever, and from the first movie is in this one. So it definitely could fit in that. More directly connecting it to what was happening in World War II and the aftermath of World War II, right? But our predictions or Godzilla probably should, but we wouldn't be surprised if Evil Dead Rise or When Evil Lurks won it, was kind of our prediction. And for the most part, we were right. Godzilla -1 took home the big one. So definitely not upset about that one. That was a great movie.
No, that probably would have been, like I said, that would have been my pick out of all those that I'd seen. I think actually we might have seen all those. In that category, I believe.
I have. I've seen every single one of them.
Oh, except Megan. Yeah, except Megan.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I've seen that, but it's kind of weird. I guess not weird. Megan was kind of popular, so I guess that's why they threw that one in there. The only one that kind of sticks out like a sore thumb, and it was good, but Satanic Hispanics.
Yeah, that one I had not seen. I know, but I didn't see it. I don't think I saw it when we did our predictions, though.
Oh, yeah.
I've seen it since then. I think
it's fun. Like it's like any anthology movie, right? Where there's a couple of them, they're like, but overall, it's a pretty fun anthology flick.
Yeah.
But
to put it as best wide release,
that was weird.
Was it in any other category at all, or no?
I don't think so. I don't think
there wasn't a best sort of foreign release type thing, was there?
Yeah.
Best international.
but
I guess that
4
one wasn't
years
technically international. I mean, even though it was, I guess it was made. It didn't fit the category international, even though it was.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know. I know that it had a lot of like. I think the whole theme of that one was Latino directors and creators and stuff, right? So, but I don't know if it was directly say like a movie that was just released there. Like, I think international release would be like country of origin, and then it comes, and then it, it's an import here kind of thing, right?
Yeah, I think that one was probably made here. Is made by Hispanics, but made in America.
Yeah, I think so.
I'm assuming so. That's probably why it didn't fall into the foreign films category.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah. So the last two, I'm gonna throw out the funny one first because it was just like this random added category that they threw in that I don't even think. I think it was just a jokey thing. I don't think it actually had a vote. Because you remember last year they had best Amityville movie.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Because there was so many Amityville movies that came out, and that's this time they did best Felissa Rose movie, and they had her reading the nominees, and they were all her movies, like all the movies I guess that she had been in over the last year and a half or so or whatever.
Yeah.
So it was her saying the nominees and then her giving herself the awards. It was a whole jokey little thing. But the best Felissa Rose movie was a movie called Craving, starring Felissa Rose, and she gave herself the thing. But I have like even as she's reading off these movies, like man, these are like straight to Tubi. You know, like ain't none of these movies you've seen. Trust me. Or if you have, it's just like you randomly decided to watch it because you had nothing better to watch on Tubi or Freevee or something, you know. Good for her though, right? I've never met her, but I've heard she's one of the nicest persons.
Yeah. We met her more than a handful of times. Yeah, she is, and every time she's never in a. I mean, I'm sure she probably has her times, but if she ever has been in a bad mood, she's never showed it. In any of those 5 times we've met her, she's always been great, you know.
And the last one was best kill. Smoke, your prediction was the scene, the big scene from In a Violent Nature. They dub it the yoga hook kill scene.
Yoga
hook kill scene. The only one that I could nominate was the one from When Evil Lurks, when the dog takes out the little girl.
Yeah.
That was the one I was like, God almighty. And it just comes out of nowhere, right, when you're watching. So that was the one that I nominated. But Smoke, you were right. The one, and that was a write-in. That was a write-in nominee too.
Yeah, I wrote that in too.
Yeah, there you go. So
I know
the yoga hook kill scene. That won the best kill. So, like, man, if you've seen that, and you guys, you know, you predicted it. If you've seen that movie, there's no surprise. That's what did you say, Smoke? It's one of the more inventive
kills
that you've seen in a while.
Yeah.
It is like they really put their thinking caps on for that one. I was like, how did we get here?
Yeah. They definitely outdid themselves with that one.
How messed up can we be and show it on screen? It's unique.
You know what it is? It's an art kill. It's an Art the Clown type kill, but in a non-art, in a totally different kind of movie, basically.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I could totally see. I guarantee you, Damien Leone's like, damn it, you know, like when oh, why didn't I think of that one? It's some good stuff.
Yeah.
I liked In a Violent Nature. I'm not, like I really enjoyed it. It's probably not the kind of movie that's for everybody.
No, it's another divisive one kind of.
But there are that scene, and then there's another one. There's actually about 3 really good kills in that movie, at least.
Yeah.
There's some, like, when it happens, boy, in that movie, it's good stuff. It's just it takes you a while to get there,
Yeah.
You get there, boy. Whoo.
I like that one for what it was, and that I'm probably not the kind that me on here. I'm usually not that. First of all, not that huge a fan of new movies in general. It takes something for me to really, something that it has to offer me for me to really latch on to modern films. But this one, I would expect it not to have liked it because it's a slasher film, and generally I'm more of a traditional old school slasher type fan, So I really didn't expect to like it, and I enjoyed it for what it was. I liked the style of it, and again, another one that was good to see in the theater because of the sound design of those scenes where people complained about him just walking around in the woods, aimlessly wandering around in the woods.
Yeah,
all you hear is him, through the breaking.
And I can see that complaint, but the best thing I compare it to is like if you've ever wondered what it's like to watch Jason at work.
Yeah.
That's what the movie is.
Yeah.
That's essentially almost exactly what it is. So
yeah, I liked it for that, I guess, for that different take on the slasher genre, even though I'm more of a traditional old school slasher kind of guy. But and I think a lot of the people that were more old school slasher type people didn't like it for those reasons, maybe. But another appearance of the cat again.
For best special effects, cat
scare.
Well, that's it. That's all of them. So I didn't do the official count there, but I'd say we did better than half. I think for the most part, we called most of those. There were only a couple that we completely crapped the bed on.
Yeah.
So it was another good year, and that was actually a little bit longer than usual because the last 2 or 3 years they've done the Chainsaw Awards like in the spring, so it would be like the calendar year before that. This time they decided to wait until October, which is probably a smart move. So because of that, it ended up being about a year and a half or so of that little eligible calendar. So I would imagine next year going forward, I would imagine it'd be every October. So it'll be more like it'll actually align more with our calendar year because our Spookshow calendar year is like October to October. So it'll align more with the Spookshow Awards. That'll help us out next year. Try to stay on top of some of these movies. Need to get better about the documentaries, right? That was the only one.
We
hadn't watched any of them. So.
Especially because there's at least 2 of them in there that they're right up my alley, being some of my favorite. Like we already mentioned, Argento and the Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
I need to hunt down the Chainsaw one, but the Argento one is on Shudder.
Oh, okay,
it's available there if you want to check that one out. So. I guess that's it. So please go visit aaspookshow.com. That's the center of the Spook Show universe. From there, you can listen to all the past podcast archives, all 200 and something episodes you can find easily there. Of course, stick around here on the YouTube channel for we have other series every month, just about every week. Video Vortex, where we watch something from the 80s or the 90s, like stuff you would have rented back in the old video store days, and we talk about those. Have a good time with that. We also do Grindhouse Gutter, where the professor picks something that would have played in the grindhouses or the drive-ins, the B movies of the 60s, 70s, and the early 80s, right?
Yeah.
Kind of the focus of that one. Yeah. And then Hammer Horror and Order, the definition's kind of there in the title. Like we're watching the Hammer horrors and thrillers from Hammer Films released or watch them in the release order, in the order that they were released by Hammer. So we have a lot of fun with all those series. Lots of cool bonus stuff. And we encourage you to go to patreon.com/AASpookShow, become a patron of the show. We've got lots of new content coming starting next month because we're kind of putting Crapster Piece Theater and Library of the Professor on the back burner, on hiatus for a while, and kind of introducing some new concepts. So lots of bonus stuff there if you sign up and become a patron. So for Donnie and Will, who couldn't be with us, Tiana, Professor Smoke, I'm Josh. We are the All-American Spook Show, and we'll see you next time.
Bye-bye.